Okay, I probably shouldn't be doing another phase, but I'm having a good time playing this game. And even if I'm doing schizophrenically, I really think that if you're playing against other players, you can really focus on what you're doing and not worry about the other people. One of my quick lessons is I think you want to pay attention to this. And when you're picking your starting company, so like let's say all four players choose each of these. I made a poor choice picking a company that only produces two goods when I needed three. You know, that's the kind of thing I think I recommended in your first game that you really consider that. That's, I think, a huge strategy that'll get you an extra $50 in revenue, and that's a big deal in the early game, and a huge mistake for the companies that failed to do that. And when you're schizophrenically controlling all four, you know, I'm not paying attention to that stuff, but it's something, you know, because I'm playing this game because I'm curious to see how enjoyable it is, which right now I'm having fun. But I'm also trying to understand, like, how does the strategies of this work versus like a regular 18xx game. My next comment is around this. We chose companies that don't really take advantage of those. I think these are very powerful. Don't get caught up in the allure of the expansion pack like I did. I really think some of the basic companies might be more powerful starting companies. Largely because, especially these resource producing ones, those are huge, and you saw us spending a lot of money trying to get resources out of there in order to get from there. We had to do a lot of finagling to get our resources, and I think that these are super valuable, and they're very likely going to just fall off the edge because no one's buying them. So I really think you may want to consider a company that uses these over a company that doesn't. Okay. That's another thought. And you can see that the new ones that are coming aren't necessarily resource related, and that's okay. But I think these early ones are just tremendous. And the yellow player here, I think, has the best advantage in my book. Okay, the next thing is these actions are all super duper cool, but having only two workers, or they're called personal assistants or whatever, you really don't get to do them much. I think as the game builds up and we get into the later phases, those are going to become more and more important. But right now, they're just there. And, you know, because we have to always hire new employees and things like that, it's a big issue. So speaking of which, as you can see, there's not a lot of employees in the employment pool, and the only way new employees come out is through these tiles. So right now we're down to only 2 employees left in the market. Oh, actually, I take it back. There's an unlimited number of employees. It's just that once these are gone, it's $50 each. I'm sorry, there's unlimited. You're just going to pay through the nose. Okay, so with those comments out of the way, why am I having fun? Well, it's like an 18xx. So from that perspective, I really love it. I really love that he tried to blend this with Euro mechanics, and so far they seem to work. The Arkwright mechanics, this is Arkwright mechanics here, like this side of the board with the appeal track and with the way demand works, that's all Arkwright mechanics there. And they're not as mathy as the original Arkwright game. So it's okay. Like, it's not bothering me. I think that this is going to start really coming to play when you have more than one player in the same industry, because that's the same deal with Arkwright. The player who goes first can take up all the spots, and then the player who goes next has nothing to sell because there's no demand, and that's awful. It's just an awful position to be in. It's actually why I didn't care for Arkwright very much. But part of the game of Arkwright is that you were supposed to plan for all that and math it out, so that way it never happens to you. And again, I just didn't enjoy that. I'd rather go to work. So in the Depression, though, you can sell unlimited goods. So that's something Arkwright does not have. And I think that's an awesome addition. Now, they're at half price, mind you, but at the end of the game, when these things start filling up, you actually have the ability to sell everything you make. So again, he sort of like erased the one thing I didn't like about Arkwright's mechanic, and it's not there. This game removed that. So now it's not like he made this game just for me. I can tell you that's my subjective opinion about Arkwright, but it was the one thing I didn't, or not one, but a major thing I didn't like about it, and it's fun, you know, that he addressed it, and I was like, yeah, you know, so I'm cheering it on. But let's keep it going. So we now are back at the stock phase, and the stock phase does not use this turn order; it uses that turn order. So yellow goes first, and so let's figure out yellow's situation. Yellow has plenty of money. His shares are $60 if he wants to buy shares of his own company, and he does. So he's going to spend 25, 50, 60 bucks. So there we go. 60 bucks to his own company, and we're going to get another. Oh, no. Hold on. That's not what he wants to do. We want to get a double share. There's these preferred stocks. So DBH is doing really well. So we want to buy a share of DBH. So see, DBH is $80 a share. So let's see if he has 160 bucks. He may not. 25, 50, 75, 85. Yeah, he only has $95. So so he can buy the preferred shares of CJ. So Cracker Jack. So he can buy a 20% share of Cracker Jack, and in doing so, that's $80. So here's 75, $80. He's got 15 bucks left over. Now, why is he doing that? He's doing that because this is one certificate that has double shares on it. So this is valuable. This is better than having two 10% shares. So he's going to do that because now no other player can buy it, and so it's gone from the game. And CJ had an awful start, and the stock value is really low, and it's now poised to get a nice double bump after this. And so he just bought these shares for dirt cheap. It's the most economically smart thing to do in the game. Now, he really would have liked to buy his own shares because his own shares are going to be going up too and getting more and more expensive. But the advantage of leaving them in your company is now your company gets to make the money. And so then you don't have to worry about withholding because your company's making profit. So buying your own shares really quick is not necessarily the best thing to do. Cracker Jack actually has that problem. There's only 3 shares of it left. Okay, so moving on, we now are going to Blue, the Cracker Jack company. So he has 50% of his shares. He only has $30 to his name. He has to pass. Unless he wants to sell one of his shares, which he doesn't. Blue is losing the game pretty badly. So now we move to red. Here, red has $75. Thanks to the fact that he had $25 left over from the last time. And so I think red wants to buy one of his own shares. It's the DBH, which is $80. Oh my gosh, he doesn't even have enough to buy his own share. That's awful. So what's red gonna do? He's got 75, so he can buy somebody else's shares. Oh man. Well, you know what? NK Fairbank guy bought one of his shares, so he'll buy an NK Fairbank for 60 bucks. So here's $75 going to NK Fairbank, and we need $15 back, which he happens to have exact change, so that's good. So one share of NK Fairbank is now in his control. Now, one strategy that was going through my head, and the reason why I paused, is you can buy these dippy 10% shares, or maybe it's better to hold on to your money and just start another company, or buy the more lucrative shares. I'm not. You know what? I'm actually going to do that with this person. So I'm going to take my $75 back. We're going to save. This AI is going to be all about premium. We're going to go premium with this one. And so go big or go home. All right, so passing. And then we're going to, now the green player, and green player is like rolling in the money. I don't know how this happened, but he is. And let me show you. Or maybe it's just a bunch of smaller bills. Let's find out. 10, 20, 30, 5, 6, 7, 47, 52, 62, 72, 82, 87. All right, so it's actually not that much. It's 87. He has NK Fairbank. He can at least buy a share of his own stuff, which that's worth doing. It's worth owning your own company. So yeah, 25, 35, 45, 55, 60. So going to buy a share of his own company and get that. He would have bought a double share of CJ Cracker Jack. However, Cracker Jack was already purchased. And everybody else is too expensive. So nobody can buy a premium of those. So, okay. So we're done now with the stack phase. Everybody was only able to act once. And so yellow player is still going to be the first player because the last player to go was green. Okay, so now we move to the building phase. So what happens is everybody gets 2 of these. So it gets added to the 1 that you already had. So everybody's getting 2. I'm just doing that off camera right now. And let's go in turn order. Well, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to just, because this is supposed to be simultaneous. So we're going to start with the yellow player. So the yellow player kept this one and then got these 2. Ooh, 2 of them for 80 bucks. Remember, yellow needs these. This is going in for sure. So yellow player is going to put this in like so. And then we have to keep one or discard one. Yellow player needs blue and pink, but generates 2 pink on its own. So it really doesn't matter, but this puts employees out, and yellow player cannot automate. He needs employees, so he's going to keep this one. And then we're going to discard this one. Okay, so now we go to the blue player. Now the blue player needs brown, black, and blue resources, and we have the brown and blue there. We kept this, which we thought might be really useful. This is a +2, which is, oh my gosh, and then 2 of those. I think all 3 of these are awesome. The fact that I have to discard one is actually a crying shame. I'm going to put this fame out, and then I'm going to keep this one because I think people are going to want to automate, but I'm not sure. That was a tough choice. All right, this next one. This is the red player. So we ended up getting, so we had this one we kept. And then we got these 2. Oh, so that one's even better, the 3 there. Which one do we want to put out? Like I would say, oh, we got another one of these. But look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Like we've actually just flooded the board with an action that I told you was rare. This 3 would trump the 2, which makes that one a pointless. And that's what makes this fun, because he wouldn't know that someone else is putting out the 2-star, or the person putting out the 2-star wouldn't know that someone's putting out a 3. Had I known that this 3 was going to go out, I would have discarded this one and kept the other 2, right? So it's that's an interesting part about this game. And to be quite honest, I would not have known that this double one was coming out either. But I probably would have put, yeah, I probably would have done this one first, and then thinking this one was awesome. And so I would have done that one first without knowing that a double one was coming out. And then I would have kept, I do need these resources. I would have discarded this. I would have thought this was too valuable, at least at this stage of the game. Okay, now green player. Oh crap, I just knocked all of his pieces everywhere. Give me a second. Got those fixed. All right. So now I would have definitely seen that this is an opportunity because there's only one out there. There's already one of these out there, and then that actually is sort of helpful for him, but I would have definitely put this one out. And then if I had to discard one, it was going to be this one, because there's already one of these out there. Well, I don't know. Resources are resources. This would put 2 employees. He doesn't need any employees, so yeah, I would have discarded this one and kept the gimmicky one. All right, so that's the building phase. Pretty straightforward, right? So now we do turn. So green is still first, and here's green's situation. They have all the employees they need, but we need resources for us to operate both factories. We need the little office managers to get those nice bonuses, and we need one more of these managers to get an extra 10 bucks. It would also be nice to automate, right? We got 2 automation options. So we have all of our employees. We don't get resources until the company operates. So green has the luxury of using both of these for greedy purposes. And so we're just going to make our company better. So we need a whole bunch of black cubes. And as you can tell, there's not any black cubes. There's only one out there. And green has the company that's going to run first. So it would have been nice to get black cubes from somewhere, but there's nothing there. We can buy one of these and just discard them to get the free automation. But to be quite honest, the automation that's on the board is just as good, except this would go to the red player. So I guess, yeah, you would maybe buy one of these instead, so it doesn't go to the red player, it goes to the bank. We can buy one of these managers, just to hog one. It's not a bad idea, and it's free because, well, it goes from the company to the player. So the green player can just make his own profit. He doesn't need, I mean, it gives him an extra $10, but he would actually rather have this one. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to grab one of these, and then I'll move the camera and we'll situate this. So I'm going to put him here. So now we're going to generate a resource cube. So we can start generating those black cubes that we keep needing. And we'll also generate a fame or an appeal. And we do have to pay 20 bucks from the company to the player, which happens to be the same player. So he's paying basically himself, which is a pretty awesome deal. Okay, so green went first. Now red. Okay, red's situation is they definitely want to automate. You can see, and then remember the rules. If I can automate these two workers move over. So then I don't have to purchase any workers. So let's see if I can get some automation. There is one available, and it's to himself. So right here, he can get automation to himself. Oh, we forgot something. 1, 2, 3 employees come out. 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to go ahead and get some automation. It would be the company pays $40 to the player. That player happens to be red, which is the red player who owns the company. So we're going to pay $40 to the red player. So I'm going to get change for this 100. So here's $60 going back to the company, and then 25, 35, 40 to the player. So the player is going to get 25, 35, 40, or you know what I mean. And he gets to automate something. So what we're going to do is this automation comes up and then this shifts over. Okay, that was red. Now we go to blue. Blue needs a black and a blue if it wants to continue. It also needs 3 more employees, which is a boatload. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off, to be quite honest. We could buy those employees now. That'd be 40, 80, 90, 100, 110 bucks. Oof. Let's see if he has enough. 50, 75, 100. He would have 50, 60, 70, 85. The fact that somebody bought that double share really helped him. He would have enough. This would be 110 bucks. He can get 3 employees, so he could run his second factory. Then he would need resources, of course, which he would have to purchase later. I think he'd have enough to do it. Yeah, we'll do it. So here's 110 bucks. We're going to pay this because we're going to go hire some employees. Are we? I really only need to hire 2 employees. So I could hire 2 employees and then automate 1, which would give me the 3rd. I could do that. That would save me 40 bucks. Although it cost me $40 to automate. But the advantage to automating is you produce more goods. So what would I do with my second action? My second action would help to have like a manager. I'm going to keep 40 bucks, okay? Just put it right here. And what I'm going to do is just hire 2 employees, one for $30, one for $40. And they're going to go like so. And then next turn I'm going to automate, which will move them over. Okay? That's going to be my strategy. And I basically did the hire employee action. Okay, last but not least is yellow here. Yellow wants to hire more employees, of course. There is no opportunity to automate, so they have to rely on the employee pool. You're looking at 40 bucks each for an employee, and if he wants to hire all 4, he would need 40, 80, 120, and then 50 more is 170. That might be pretty steep, even for a company that's doing well. Let's see. 10, 20, well, there's 100. 20, 30, 40. He's only got 150. So it's out of the realm to be able to fully run the factory and unlock that guy. So that's out of the question. But I think we can hire at least 2 more, right? But the other thing is he really needs these to make his revenue go up. So his first action's a no-brainer. He's taking the double spot. And that's $80 to the player. So that's the yellow player. So he's actually helping himself. So that's awesome. So I'm going to spend the 100 and get some change. I'm doing all this off camera. Okay, $20 going back to the company. And then 80 to the player. And the fact that the player just got 80 freaking dollars, that's really good. And he got it from his own company. It's even better. Okay, so we get 2 of the juicy managers. And he now just bumped his revenue up by 10 bucks. That's basically going to be an automatic for him every time. But the bad news is he's not going to get this extra worker for a bit. Okay, so now we're back to green, and I think we said, okay, green Yeah, green has the luxury of just being selfish. And automation is a good option for green as well. Let's think about this. Green can increase his revenue by $10 if he gets another manager, or he can do a salesperson, and that lets him get 2 resources. But it's 60 bucks. NK Fairbank is already highest appeal as it is. But I think we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna get this guy for 60 bucks. Is that really worth, is it worth it to go bunkers like that? I mean, because next turn I could go there again. Part of me thinks that, well, maybe somebody else will go there, but green right now is first, and until somebody uses this action, they're never gonna take first from him. So, because I would have this action probably available to me to go first, and it would only cost me 20 bucks instead of 60. That's what I'm debating right now. Is it really worth 60 bucks to get this now? There's a part of me that says yes, because then I would generate 2 resources every time I operate. And that is very helpful. What else would I do? I could pay out dividends, which I don't want to do. Not yet. I can just get 40 bucks cash from my company. I don't want to do that. I can get one of these, which it does give me an automation, so I'm happy with that. But I think, yeah, I'm going to stick with what I did. So we're going to pay 60 bucks. 25, 35, 45, 55, 60. Yep. Okay. And get one of these guys. And then just to remind you, we're putting him here. So now when we run both factories, I'm going to go up 2 appeal. Every time those factories run, it'll go up 1 each. And then I'll be able to take 2 resources, which I'm going to take these black resources, which seem to be really hard to come by, at least for now. Okay, so red is up next. Red does need a crap ton of resources. But I said that we need to automate again. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go here, and that, by the way, unless it has the infinity symbol, every space is a one-time thing. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to pay the 40 bucks. I can't keep this for the 2 brown cubes. Remember, that was a mistake, I think, an early strategy is to take advantage of these resource cubes. But I am going to use it just for the automation. So I'm paying 40 bucks, and then this is just discarded. And everything else shifts down. This, by the way, if you get the American Flyer Company, this is one of the catalogs that, so a normal company gets 40 bucks, but the American Flyer Company gets like an extra 40 or something for each one of these. So this is worth a crap ton of money. So the American Flyer Company is worth starting knowing that that's out there. Okay, so before I forget my thought, I have to pay 40 bucks, 25, 35, 40 from the company to the bank. So done, done, and done. And then we're going to automate. So we come over here, and this comes out. That shifts over. So now I have enough employees to run the second factory. And then I'm going to produce 2 plus 1. I'm going to produce 3 from this factory now instead of 2. And then this factory over here will produce 1, and then it'll produce another 1 if I can ever unlock that. Okay. So red is done. Now we go to blue. What was blue's plan? Blue needed to get a factory, so we're going to do the same thing. Blue is going to pay the $40 that I set aside here. So 25, 35, 40. And this is for the Cracker Jack Company. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab the Pennsylvania coal. Same deal. We're just doing it for the automation. Shift everything down. And this automation marker comes out. And this moves over, and now we're producing 3 plus 2. Okay. All right, last one for yellow. Yellow needs employees if they want to run a second batch, and they do. So we're going to put yellow here. We're going to grab 2 employees for $40 each. They're going to go here and here. That's an $80 purchase. I better have $80. Let me make sure. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Oh my gosh, he doesn't have enough. I guess we're not getting employees. So we're not doing that action, folks. What action will we do then? I could do this and just produce 1 extra good. I could get 1 manager, which is at least halfway towards what I need to do. I can increase my appeal by 2, which will give me a free employee. But it's not enough to run the next portion. I need 2 employees. I think I'm going to go with this one, because I do need a lot of those. So I'm going to pay $20. It goes to the green player because it's on the green track. So I'm going to pay $20 to the green player from the company and get another one of these and go right there. So I don't have enough to get the next $10 bump, but I'm halfway there. Okay. So that ends the action phase. So after the action phase, we go to the operating phase and start running the factories. And I wasn't really doing this, but we actually are right there where it was. The first company to run would be NFK. So NFK is this company here, and we have a lot of resources we need to get. We need to get 2 black, 4 black, and a pink. I don't know if that's possible. So let's look at our situation. Let me get this camera put down. So for example, I know there's a black here for $30 and a pink here for 20. Okay, so we're looking at $50 right there. I have 115 to spend. So I would need, if I want to run both factories, 3 more black. So if I bought these 2 and these 2, that would give me 2 more black. In order to get the 3rd black, I would also have to buy these 2. I just don't, it's not possible. Because that's what, 30, 50, 70, 80, that's $100 right there. I only have, the company only has 15 more dollars. Oh my goodness, I can't do it. But I can at least get 2 black. So to get 2 black, I just need to do that. So 30, 40, $50. So I'm going to spend $50. I am not going to be able to unlock my guy because I was not able to run the second factory. So I'm just off camera switching the money right now. Okay, so I'm going to do $50. So these 2 are going into the square in order to get a black, and then this is the other black, okay? So my problem is I'm only able to run 1 factory. So that sucks. So in doing so, I'm only going to get to generate 1 thing. So that's the problem. Now, the resource I'm going to generate is, of course, going to be a black. So I put it into the treasury, and it's just basically, you have an infinite warehouse. So you can store as many resources as you want. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I do gain 1 of the appeal, and I gain 2 resources, and that is the sewing machine. So let's do all that right now. So NFK gains 1 appeal, which is going to go up to there. And we're gonna get 2 resources and their sewing machine. And what's awesome is this one fills up all the way, and then this one is gonna be partial. So the 2 resources are selling for $50 each, so that's $100. And then another $50 bonus for filling this in. So $150 again for NK Fairback. That's $15 a share. And I got my calculator to work, by the way. So $15 a share. I happen to have 4 shares with green, so that's $60. $60 for the green player. And then the did somebody else buy their shares? I don't think so. So 20, 30, 40, 50. I think somebody did. No, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, so the company is going to get $90. So I'm doing that right now off camera. Okay, so NK Fairbanks made $150. You can see here they were at 60. So we were double but not triple. So it's going to move up twice. So now it's worth $100 a share. So those shares are getting pretty pricey to buy. Okay, moving on. Next is Cracker Jack. So let's do it in the right order this time. Cracker Jack needs a brown, a black, and a blue. So the black is definitely a problem. The brown, not so much, or the blue. So if you look here, we can get a blue, we can get a brown, but to get a black, I would need to do this and this. So let's see if I have enough. 30, 50, 70, $80. And I happen to have 50, 60, 70, $80. Oh my gosh, let me show you. So this is $80 in my hand. I have $5 left to the company's name. So boy, it was almost like we planned that, and I didn't. I'm just sort of, since I'm playing all these players, I'm not concentrating on my one game here. But yeah, I'm doing this, and so these 2 pinks are being handed in for a black, and then I'm taking the blue and the brown. So the brown goes there, the blue and the black. Oh, by the way, the resources, after a company finishes, goes back into Haymarket Square. So you don't wait until the end of the round to put them all back. So the first player's resources goes back, so the second player does have that. If they can trade for it, they can get those, okay? All right, so back to this. I'm able to run all my factories, so I'm going to unlock this worker, which is great. So now blue has an extra worker, and we're still only at $30 a piece for the grain, but now I'm producing 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 2 more, 5 total things, and I do gain 1 fame. So we're gonna move up the fame, and I actually get an employee, which I don't need. So instead of taking the employee, I can take $25. And I'm gonna do that and give it to the company. Okay, so we said 2, 3, 4, 5 of them at $30 each. Okay, so let's do that. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we finally filled up the first one, and 5 times 3 is $150, right? So we're gonna get $150 just for the goods. Then we're gonna get this $50, so we're actually getting $200, which is $20 a share. And the blue player owns 50% of the company, so it's gonna be a cool $100 each. $100 to the player, $100 to the company. And the company would triple jump with that, but we're below $60, so he's just gonna jump up twice to 60. Okay, so that's Cracker Jack. He's done the resources go back. Like we said, they're going to be available for the next player if they can trade for them. So they're there. Okay, so now we go to DBH. They're next. So their situation is he needs a black, a pink, and a buttload of everything else. He only has $5, $25, $27, and $32. Oh my gosh, he's not going to get anything. But we do actually shift resources first. So let me take care of that. And remember, we now draw 4 because that's what's underneath the phase marker. So we're going to get those 4 to go into the red X. All right, we may only be able to run the first factory here, which is a black and a pink, and that black might actually do us in. Because we only have $32. The pink itself is $20. Oh my gosh, did we really get ourselves in a situation where we couldn't operate? This is bad, by the way. You should never allow yourself into this situation I just got myself into. We should have done, we should have even gone here to get $40 or something. Maybe, you know, we ended up paying $40 to our player. You know, maybe we should have taken that back, or this is not, you should always make sure you can operate. But, you know, for those of you that are watching, what happens to you if you can't operate? Well, what you technically did is you were unable to pay your shareholders and you withheld. So DBH is going to drop 1 on the stock track. And it's going to pay nothing to its people. It doesn't even generate any revenue because it didn't produce any goods. So that, and the reason this is bad is, okay, somebody needs to buy one of their shares, or otherwise they're not going to get infused with any money for the next round. And so what was the mistake I made? The biggest mistake I made is I had her hold on to her shares. Remember, because I said I wanted to buy another company? So maybe I really should have bought one of my own shares. And in fact, I'm thinking of retconning this. So if that would have been $75, $80 to the company, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that to buy one more share of my own company if I was that player, because that would have been the smart thing to do. So even though I showed you what would have happened, now let's play it if she would have bought one of her own shares. Now she has $80 in that company, and that company can afford $20 for this and then $60 for this, which is $80, right? So these two pink are going to go into the trade market square for a black. So we have a black and a pink, and we can at least run one of our warehouses, okay? So that $80 I just gave to them is now spent on those resources. Now, you might be thinking, well, why are you retconning? Why? I'm just recording while I play. I'm thinking impulsively. I'm not thinking through my turn. And the impact of trying to hoard my money so I can buy another company was I screwed the company I had. You don't want that, folks. That's the last thing you want. So anyways, now that we did this, we can run the company, and you can see we can generate 3 resources or 3 goods at $60 each. That's going to be huge for both the company and for her. So there's no manager, so we don't get any bonus that way. But we're going to generate 3 goods. So here's 3, and these are the shoes. And it's going to get even better. See, look how awesome this is turning out. 1, 2, 3 at $60 each. That's $180 plus the $50 bonus. That's what, $230, and so that's $23 a share. So the red player has 40%. So 23 times 4, she's getting $92. So her $80 or whatever she hoarded, she's getting that back and then some. So it wasn't even smart to hoard the $80. So 75, 85, 90, 1, 2. All right, so she is actually sitting on more money now than she was when she hoarded. And if the company would have withheld, you know, she would have gotten paid nothing from that. She's actually got more money now. So that part's awesome. Oh, the green player owns a share, so they get $23. And the paper money is pushing me to the limit. All right, one. I do admit that the heavy cardboard on the paper money makes it nicer because they're not sticking together. I mean, they're nice and they glide really nice. But what's happening, if you look at my piles, they're spilling everywhere for the same reason. Okay, so that's the case. And then the company itself has 50%. So 23 times 5, $115 for the company. So even though the company spent $80, they got $115 back. I would say that's a good deal. And so that poises the company for good shape. And then their 2 resources go back in the pool. Okay, last but not least is the yellow company. The yellow company is going to go ahead and pay the $10 for 2 pink cubes. Even though he has one and only needs one to operate, we're still going to do it because $10 for 2 pink cubes is a steal. So we're going to go ahead and do that and just put them in the pool. And then one of them is going to be used to go back into the kitty. We're going to generate 3 cubes and we're going to make $50-$60 for each one. This one doesn't count yet. So 3 cubes at $60. And then I also realized I forgot something else, but I'll deal with that in a second. So 1, 2, 3, and this is for pigs. And so ding, ding, and ding. So 180 plus 50, that's also $23 a share. And the player has 4 shares, so player gets $92. 75, 85, 91, and 2. Did I run Cracker Jack? I did. I made a mistake, so I gotta fix that too. Got mistakes everywhere. All right, Oscar Mayer, the company itself has 2060. So the company gets $138. Okay, of the many things that I forgot to do, there's several now. The first one was at the end of the last turn, this stuff was supposed to shift down. And then we draw 4 more. That's the first thing. Second thing I forgot to do was move the stock. So this one made $23 a share. So that's only double, so it would have double bumped like that. And then this one just made $23 a share. 6 times 3 is 18. So it's going to get the triple bump. So that's the first part. The second part is Cracker Jack. Cracker Jack made the grain, and I think we sold $200 a share. So it was $20 a share, and I said it was 50-50. But this guy only has 3 shares. So he does not get 100. He gets 60. So there's 50 and then 10. Okay, so where did the other 2 shares go? I forgot that the yellow player bought it. So the yellow player gets 40. 25. Oh man, I'm doing so awful. Just knocking stuff everywhere. Okay, so yellow player is going to get another $40 instead of the Cracker Jack company. So instead of that 100, the 40 goes to the yellow player. There was a third thing I forgot to do. What was it? I forgot to move up the stock. I forgot to do the research. Yeah, that was it. Those 3 things. Okay. And so we still have 2 of these left, and we're hoarding them, and that's fine. And I think we are done. So the operating phase is over, and you know, we're supposed to shift supply, blah, 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 and now we're on cleanup. So during cleanup, this goes away. These shift down. This goes over here. These shift down. Then we draw 4 more. Okay, that's done. What else is done during cleanup? We have to deal with this. So okay, those are all out. Everything shifts over. And we get 1, 2, 4. Everybody gets their nerds back. So I'm going to go ahead and just take, because you unlock one on player 3 or round 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that now. And I think the only player that unlocked their extra guy was Blue. Nobody else was able to run their second factory. So well done, Blue, on that one. So Blue's going to actually have 4 workers for this next round. And Red is going to have 3. Okay, so I think that's it for cleanup. So this is going to go back to here, and then we move to the 3rd phase out of 5. Okay, so what are my comments now? I'm still having fun. I have to go to bed. It is very late, but I'm still having a ton of fun. I really like how this mixes things up. The one thing that's concerning me is I don't feel like I have a lot of money to buy other companies, which is part of the fun of this game, is to get multiple companies going. I mean, we're going into the 3rd round and we're still each just running one company. That part seems to be dragging, and I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong in that regard. Like maybe there's a strategy where you can get it going a little faster. I think some of this is because I made the mistake of not getting a company that can earn that revenue really fast. But beyond that, I'm quite happy. And please let me know if there's any rules that you think that I'm missing. I know if I'm doing math in my head and I got that wrong, you're more than welcome to let me know there. I'm not planning on responding to those. But I do appreciate it if you want to like help other people to realize, hey, did he make a mistake at 1567? Yeah, yes, he did. That's pretty normal. But yeah, big thanks to Eric Hansen for letting me have this copy of the game temporarily. And I'm going to have to make sure I invite him over every now and then so we can play it. And in fact, we are going to play this multiplayer in a few days, so I definitely have to wrap this up. It's one of the reasons he gave it to me, is he wanted me to learn the rules before he came over. So hopefully I got it all right. And it's good to be back in the driver's seat. I know some of you were checking in, and as always, thank you for joining me at the table, and stay awesome.